I absolutely hated Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And this was after kind of trying to like it, realizing it wasn't that great, still investing time with it, taking a break, waiting for the big updates, etc., etc., etc. It was a vicious, vicious, very abusive relationship I had with that game. And I'm glad to say that it's over. I'm done with it. And it's sad because I really love Ghost Recon. And I think it's probably one of the coolest open world franchises that exists. Wildlands is a perfect example of how to do everything right. And Breakpoint is an example of how to try to take some good ideas, but to make it something that it's not. And it comes with very little surprise, I think, for many of us to say that Ghost Recon has officially been terminated. That's right, no more announcements when it comes to Breakpoint. The team is done. April 5th, they wrote, quote, "We will continue to maintain our servers for both Ghost Recon Wildlands and Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And we truly hope you will continue to enjoy the game and have fun playing solo or co-op with your friends." So it's done. They're not doing anything else with it. Surprisingly enough, Ubisoft is going back to the well, so to speak, with some Division 2 content. And when we finally get a little bit more information about that, I'll definitely be posting it because I really like Division. I didn't like them taking the idea of Division and slapping it onto Ghost Recon. To me, those are two very, very different franchises. And it got me thinking, what exactly is the essence of Ghost Recon? When you really think about it, what would make a good Ghost Recon game? And I think it first starts with, obviously, the gameplay. Ghost Recon falls under what I consider a tactical shooter. There are other games that are tactical shooters, and by that I mean they are not The Division. The Division is an over-the-top, goofy, almost arcade shooter at times, where you're shooting a boss with thousands upon thousands of rounds as he's walking towards you and absorbing shots, and you're seeing the little numbers fill up on the screen as the damage meter is going up. That's not a tactical, realistic shooter. There are a lot of shooters, though, that I feel would fall best under that tactic category. Splinter Cell is a perfect example. Think of Splinter Cell. A headshot was a headshot. A body shot, maybe two body shots a person would, drop. There wasn't anything like gear score or item score or parts of the map that were kind of gated based on progress. Like, well, we really recommend you're level 2 to go to this area as opposed to level 10 for this area. So that's more of like an end game level. That is just artificial nonsense in games that I absolutely hate, especially in a tactical shooter genre. So I'm hoping that this quick turnaround maybe makes the Ghost Recon team realize, you know what? We have a place for that. We already make those kinds of games. This needs to be geared more in reality. I'm hoping maybe that is the key tenet for their design. And if that's the case, great, because that's what we want. The new game, by the way, is codenamed Over, O-V-E-R. The title's been reportedly in the works now for about a year from what I can tell. And it could launch as early as 2023, which, hey, we're great. We're excited for that. They've kind of went off on their own little nonsense thing with this Frontline, which is like this Ghost Recon first-person PvP Epic 100 Battle Royale. I don't care about that. That's not going to be fun. But let them do that to get that nonsense out of their system. And then dial it back to like basically Wildlands 2, and we'll be in good shape. That's a good start. What I'm really frustrated about, though, was the idea of Ghost Recon Breakpoint was so good. The concept was very different than other Ghost Recon games. You once again play as Nomad, who for me is a woman. But for probably most of you, it's the bearded, the red hair bearded dude who wears his hat backwards. That's your Nomad. But Nomad and the team, unlike other adventures where they're basically going in to destroy something or to basically overthrow an empire or systematically take out a target, Breakpoint, very different. Breakpoint, they were being hunted essentially. You were always underpowered. You never had all the tools for the job. You were like scraping by to engage with enemies, and ammo was more scarce, especially on the harder modes. and you had this, elite group of enemies that were way more powerful than you, that hunted you down, constantly forced you to play defense instead of offense. It was a really cool idea. The execution, of course, was just god awful. And I've done so many videos. And I'll post a couple in the description below if you want to go back and see some of my failures and fail videos and some of the horrible graphics and glitches and animations and the concept behind it. But when I remember playing Ghost Recon, and I was like, oh, this is cool. You got this evil group of these wolves led by Shane Barenthal, who is a phenomenal actor, lending his voice to this kind of like former ghost who's turned evil, and you have to like hunt him down, but he's hunting you down. Really cool concept, right? Actually, you know what? I don't know if his name is Shane Barenthal. His name is Shane. I gotta look it up now. I'm saying Shane Barenthal because, hold on, let me type this in. Shane Walsh. I'm saying Shane from Walking Dead. That's why I'm saying that. John Barenthal. I'm like merging reality with fiction. Exactly. This is actually a good segue because that's exactly what Ghost Recon does. You're crawling around in the dirt and the mud. You don't have a whole lot of ammo left, using your silencer to take out enemies. And then all of a sudden a giant mechanized robot spider tank thing comes up and you have to stand there for about 5 minutes and shoot clips into it, Division 2 style, to break off chunks of armor until it blows up. What? It's the merging of two things that don't belong. You see what I did there? Good save, Jim. But the reality is, when you look back at Ghost Recon, like Wildlands and how much fun it was, I beat that game twice. Actually, I almost beat it a third time. I beat it once on PC. I beat it again on PlayStation, and then I was screwing around with Steam Link, and I played it again on my phone. It was a lot of fun. And it was great because progression wasn't earned in terms of like stat points. You got cosmetics, great. You got different weapons, different weapon attachments. That was the fun. That was the fun of it to me. I don't know if Ubisoft can go back to a place like that after releasing NFTs, after trying to get you to buy into the collector edition and this unique limited armor set and a gun that shoots fire bolts and a gun that looks like it's shooting lasers and all these kind of monetization schemes. I don't know if it's in Ubisoft's core values anymore to be able to take it down a couple notches and just make a normal shooter. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And maybe honestly, if Breakpoint was better, like in terms of performance, if the frame rate was smoother, if some of the buggy AI and broken textures and wonkiness of the game didn't exist, maybe I would have seen it through. But it just took too many dumb elements. I think the one that broke it for me was the hub world. You're supposed to be on this deserted island, not deserted. It's a military took over a technical island, cut off all communications. You're trapped out there. You start the game with like a broken leg and a gun. That's all you have. You have to claw and work your way through. And then you find the secret bunker where there's like 1,000 other nomads, and there's vendors, and there's parties, and there's quests, and there's dailies, and it's just like this big party, and it's a safe zone, by the way. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, why does this ultra military organization not snuff this part of the island out? Well, guess what was inside there? Well, the store was in there. You could buy the armor of the week, and you could customize it. I'm like, oh boy. So I don't know if Ubisoft can help themselves anymore. Maybe the new Ubisoft and the way that the world is monetized and the way that people want to get into things, maybe that sense of progression is gone. I don't know. There is something fun about just you being pitted up against other AI player, you against AI players, using your skill, your stealth, your tactfulness to systematically break down and destroy basically impossible odds, but because you're so well equipped and well trained, because hopefully you're using your Elite controller, you have a good time with it. So it's a bittersweet moment for me knowing that Ghost Recon, there's no chance of them coming back one more time with the Realism 2.0 patch or any sort of redemption to the game. It's done. And that's a real bummer. And all I can say is whenever the next Ghost Recon game finally does show up, I just hope and pray that it's back to its former glory. And the developers at Ubisoft take a really long, hard look at what makes Ghost Recon games so good and sticks to that. That's all I can hope. And, you know, if the rumors are true, we may see something later this year, some sort of preview or some sort of trailer or whatever. And when we do, you know, I'll be talking about it. So with that, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope everybody has a great Monday. Take care of yourselves. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.